Okay, page 14. Well, let's have a look at this question 16, which is on page 14. And quite a long question here. I think it's important for us to break it down into the different parts of this question and try to write some equations for each of these different parts. So firstly, Mina bought some pens. Let's call pens P. Pencils. Let's call pencils PC. Erasers. Let's call that E. And rulers. Let's call that R. With 1,718 and 45 cents. Okay, so now let's start with this first question here, or the first statement, and let's write this first statement here in a mathematical equation. So P plus PC plus E plus R is equal to 1,718 and 45 cents. All right, now let's look at the second statement. The amount of money spent on pens is twice the amount spent on pencils. Okay, so let's write this down here as well. Pens is twice what's spent on pencils. Okay, so that's for the first statement, and that's the second statement. Let's have a look at the third statement. The amount of money spent on erasers is 3 times the amount spent on rulers. So erasers is 3 times the money spent on rulers. And let's have a look at the fourth statement. The amount of money spent on pens was 213.20 cents more than the amount spent on rulers. Okay, so amount of money spent on pens is rulers plus $213.20. All right, so we got these 4 statements here, and we've written a mathematical equation on each of these statements. All right, well, let's start with the first one, the first equation. So P plus PC plus E plus R is equal to 17, 18, and 45 cents. All right, now the question asks you, how much money did Mina spend on rulers and erasers? So we want to try to reduce this equation to only either E or R and find out what E or R is. So we want to try to substitute out P or PC. Okay, so firstly, let's see if we can substitute P. We got an expression for P here that will give us a expression on R. So we're going to use that. All right. And here, we're going to use this as well. P is 2PC. Now, what we can do here is that we can convert this to find out what PC is. So PC is equal to a half of P. All right. So P is 2PC. Therefore, PC is P on 2, or half of P. All right. So let's substitute those in. So we can see here, let's do PC first. So P plus, let's do a decimal, 0.5 P. All right, so that's PC is 0.5 P plus E plus R equals 17, 18, and 45. All right, now let's add these two together, P and 1.5 P. So that's 1 P and 0.5 P, so that's 1.5 P plus E plus R equals 17, 18, and 45. All right. Okay, now it's time for us to apply this one here, the fourth statement, where P is R plus 213.2. All right, so we're going to have 1.5 brackets R plus 213.2. All right, so that's 1.5 P. That's P from the fourth equation, plus E plus R equals 1718.45. All right, so let's multiply this out. 1.5 R plus 213.2 times 1.5. Let's do a quick calculator. I'll just do it off screen here with a quick calculator. And we get here the answer is 319.8. All right, plus E plus R equals 1718.45. All right. Okay, so now the next step, I think, is to get rid of E. We already know that E is 3R, so we're going to substitute that into this equation here. So 1.5R plus 319.8 plus E is 3R. 3R plus R equals 1718.45. All right. So now we've only got R in this equation here. You got 3, 4, 5.5. So 319.8 plus 5.5 R is equal to 1718.45. 5.5 R is equal to 1718.45 minus, so this, bring that over to this side of the equal sign, it becomes negative 1319.8. So 5.5 R is equal to, and a quick calculation here, that'll give me 1398.65. Therefore, R equals 1398.65 divided by 5.5. That'll give me an R value of 254.30. All right, you can use your calculator for that to double check. So now that we got R, we know that E equals 3R, which is equal to, we know 3R from there. So 3R, so that's 3 times 254.30, and that should give us an answer of 762.90. Okay, so we know what E and R is. That's E, that's E, and that's R. So therefore the question is, how much money did Mina spend on rulers and erasers on E and R's? So E plus R is equal to 762.90 plus 254.30, and that should equal to 1017.2, and that's the final answer there. The amount spent on erasers and rulers is 1017.20. And let's double check the answer for that, 1017.20, and that's correct. Next question. So here we are on page 15 and question 17, just one question on this page. I think this is a fairly difficult question, but let's take it step by step. Again, we understand the process here is to read each statement one at a time and try to write an equation to mathematically explain what that statement is actually saying. Okay, so Sammy drew a figure made up of 3 triangles with identical breadth. So the width is the same. Don't worry about the width too much. We're more concerned about the length. All right. The length of rectangle A is 5/11 of the length of rectangle B. Okay, so let's write this down in a mathematical expression. The first statement there is A is equal to 5/11 of the length of B. All right. Now let's look at the second statement. The second statement is the length of C is half the total length of rectangle A and rectangle B together. All right, so C is equal to half of A plus B. All right, let's have a look at the third statement there. The length of X is equal to the length of Y. So X and Y are the same. So X equal to Y. Okay. Find the length of the entire figure. So that's the question mark here that we need. Well, let's see what else we can do. All right. We also know that the length of A minus X is 46. All right. So let's write that down as well. The fourth thing that we can find out, that we can deduce from the diagram, is that A minus X is 46. So A minus X equals 46. Let's look at this one here. right? B minus x is 136, right? So that's the fifth thing that we know there. B minus x is equal to 136. Okay. All right, so I think these are the 5 things that we know from looking at the diagram. All right, let's see how we can work this out. Well, firstly, let's start off with A and B. All right, try not to concern yourself too much with C. We'll eventually get there, but let's work part by part. It's always a good policy to start from the left and just pick the first 2. So let's deal with A and B. All right, so we got A and B here. These 2, we just got A and B and x. We can write this in the form of, let's isolate A and B. All right, so A is equal to 46 plus x, and B is equal to 136 plus x as well. 136 plus x. Okay. So therefore, and let me just move this up a little bit so we got some space for us to have a look. Let's add these 2 together. All right. So A plus B is equal to this expression plus this expression there. All right. So A plus B, that's on this side, and we add these 2, equals 46 plus x plus 136 plus x. All right. Let's simplify that. A plus B equals 46 plus 136, that's 182, 182 plus 2x. Okay. All right, now from this we can substitute A out from the first equation. We know that A is 5/11b, so we just put there 5/11b plus 11 on 11b, right? That's 1b, equals 182 plus 2x. All right, so let's add these 2 together. So we got 16 on 11b. Okay, adding these 2 together, that's 16 on 11b, equals 182 plus 2x. Okay. Now let's see if we can get rid of either the b or the x. In this case here, we can get rid of the x, right? Because we also know from here, and this is a good one because we've got b there as well. We can change that to x is equal to b minus 136. Right? So that's x there equals b minus 136. Okay, so 16 on 11b equals 182 plus 2b minus 136. Okay, all right. So now we've got one equation with only one variable, which is b. Let's solve for b. All right, try to bring b onto one side, get a number on the other side, and find out what the answer for b is. Okay, so let's simplify this. 16 on 11b equals 182 plus 2b minus 2 times 136 is 272. All right, let's continue on this side over here. Okay, so we have here, let's bring the 272 over to the other side. All right, so it becomes plus 272. Let's bring this 182 over to the other side as well. Okay, so 272 minus 182, right? 272 goes there, and 182 goes there, becomes negative. Okay, equal to, we are left here with 2b. 2b stays there, and minus 16/11b. Minus 16/11b. Okay, so let's simplify this. That's 90. Okay, 272 minus 182 is 90. Equals, this will be 22 on 11b minus 16 on 11b, and therefore that equals to 22 minus 16 is 6 on 11b. Therefore, b is equal to 90 divided by 6 times 11. And therefore, B is equal to, just do a quick calculator check, 165. Okay? B is equal to 165. All right. Now we know also that X is equal to B minus 136. All right. So 165 minus 136. We have X is equal to 29. Right? So you can see very slowly we begin to find out all the different variables. Let's see what Y is. Y is equal to X. We know from here Y is equal to X. So Y is also equal to 29. Alright. Okay, now this is quite a lot of working out. Let's see if we got some space down below. I think we're nearly done. So let's see what A is. A is equal to, well, we know what B is, so 5/11 B. Alright? 5/11 times B is 165. So A is equal to, quick calculator check here, 75. And that's also what we need. And lastly, C is equal to half of A plus B. Right? So half A, 75, plus B, 165. And that should give us an answer of 120. All right, so that is another answer that we have there. C is equal to 120. So now we have A, B, C, X, and Y. We've got everything that we need to find out. So what's the total length of the figure? Total length is A plus B plus C plus X, minus X minus X, because there is an overlap. All right? So minus X and minus Y. Minus X and minus Y. So what does that equal to? All right? Equals to 75 plus 165 plus C is 120 minus X is 29 and Y is also 29, and that should give us the answer. Just a very quick input into your calculator, and we get the answer of 302, and that's the total length there. And just double checking the answer, the final answer is 302 centimeters, and that's correct. Good. This is a fairly difficult question, fairly long calculations here. So if you got this, I think you need to be congratulated. If you do understand everything that I did here, I think you've done very well. Next page. Okay, so we've finally come to page 16 of this paper 2. And this is the very last question that we're going to do. And also perhaps one of the most difficult questions in the test. You'll find that when examiners write a test paper, they usually go progressively from some easy questions to warm you up, and they'll have the more difficult questions at the end. Right? So try to do the easy ones first, and then tackle the last few questions which are more difficult later on. Right. So I think this question here requires us to draw a timeline, or not so much a timeline, but rather a distance line in one dimension. So we have a car traveling from town A to town B. All right. So let's put here, that's town A, and that's town B over here. And let's just draw a line right down there. Okay. So the car goes in that direction from A to B. All right. At the same time, so they start at the same time, a van is traveling from town B towards town A. Okay, now we're going to put the van down here, and the van goes in that direction from town B to town A. All right. Now, after 120 kilometers, the car passes a gem market. All right, so let's say that's the gem market there, G, and that's 120 kilometers. All right, so after traveling for 120 kilometers, it passed the gem market, and it passed the gem market at a time of 8:30. It doesn't say morning or afternoon, but it doesn't really matter. All right, now at 10 o'clock, the van passes the car at the midpoint between the gem market and town B. So that's the gem market there. That's town B. So the midpoint there, let's call that point M. Okay? They pass the midpoint at 10 o'clock. Okay? All right, they pass the midpoint at 10 o'clock together. All right, so the van also passes there at 10 o'clock. Let's put a time there for the van as well. All right, okay. The van reached the gem market at 12:30. Right, okay, so 12:30 over there. So the van passes the midpoint, same time as the car, right? And then goes on and passes the gem market at 12:30. All right. Both the van and the car did not change their speed for the entire journey. What's the difference in speed between the car and the van? Well, we need to try and work out what speed the car is traveling at, what speed the van is traveling at, and then later on we just, find the difference between the two speeds that we found out. So how can we find out this information? Well, let's change the color pen. Let's change it to red, and oh, actually, let's do green. We'll save red for the more important stuff later on. Okay. So we know that from here to here, right? From here to here, the car took 1.5 hours. So that's 8:30, 9:30 to 10. So that's 1.5 hours. All right, 1.5 hours there. All right. We also know over here that for the van, 10 to 12:30, that's 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours there. Okay. Now, since the van is traveling at the same speed, right, at the same speed all along, and that's the midpoint. So if the van took 2.5 hours to get from M to G, from B to M, it should be exactly the same, right? Because they're the same distance. So let's draw that here. That's also 2.5 hours. Okay. And we also know same thing for the car. G to M is 1.5 hours. So therefore from M to B, which is exactly the same distance, here will be another 1.5 hours. Okay. Right. Okay. So let me change to a different color pen now. All right. Now, let's see. Okay. So the van traveling from M to G, that's 2.5 hours. And let's see. Okay, all right, okay, now this makes sense here. All right, let's have a look here. Okay, now the time taken for the van to go from B to M, and because they meet at exactly the same time, and they also started exactly the same time, right? So they started at the same time, and they meet at M at the same time. So it took 2.5 hours for the van to go from B to M. So similarly, it should also take the car 2.5 hours to get to M, right? Because they both started at the same time. So that's 2.5 hours to get to there. And the car should also take 2.5 2.5 hours there. Let me write here, 2.5 hours. Okay, which means, and we know that's 1.5 hours, so which means that this portion here is 2.5 minus 1.5. So the car only took 1 hour to get to point G. Now that's good news for us because we have a distance and we have a time. That means we can calculate speed. All right, so car speed is equal to distance divided by hours, which is equals to 120 divided by 1 hour. So the car is traveling at 120 kilometers per hour. Okay, all right. Okay, so now we need to find out the time for the van traveling this distance, the last leg to town A. And what we can do here is that let's look at ratios. All right. So this is the same distance, G to M, same distance for the car, same distance for the van. If the car took 1.5 hours, to travel the same distance as the van, which takes 2.5 hours, all right, what about this portion here? If the car took only 1 hour for a shorter portion, how long would the van take? Well, this is a classic anti-clockwise structure. 2.5 divided by 1.5 times 1, which is equal to, quick calculator here, 2.5 divided by 1.5 times 1. 1.66 recurring hours. All right. So this portion here, the van, in the same proportion or the same ratio as 1 to 5 to 2.5, here we have 1 is to 1.66 recurring hours. All right, so same proportion because that's the same distance as well, so same ratio. All right, so the van took 1.66 hours for this portion here. Now let's calculate the speed of the van. The van speed is equal to, again, distance over hours equals 120 kilometers divided by 1.66 recurring, and we'll keep that recurring there rather than round it off so that we can get a more accurate answer. All right, so let's try that here. 120 divided by 1.6 recurring is equal to 72 kilometers per hour. Okay, so this is really good news here. I think we've solved it. What is the difference between the speed of the car and the van? Well, the difference is 120 for the car minus 72, and the difference is 120 minus 72 equals 48 kilometers per hour. All right, check in the answer there, and we've got this right. Okay, so that's it for this question. All the best and good luck. I'll see you in the next video.